It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy. Coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, go, go. Dig, dig, dig. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Alrighty, we're joined by Carl Edwards, who is second in the Chase Championship, going in for the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Carl, what's your outlook this week?
Well, we just have to go out here and be aggressive, do what we've been doing, try to win the, both of these races, and and just hope for the best. Hope that the luck all balances out, and if Jimmy were to have some sort of trouble and have a bad day, we just have to be there to take advantage of it. And that aside, if we can't win this thing, we got to finish second. So we're just going out here to race.
Sounds good. Let's take questions. Please state your name and affiliation. Go ahead, Jeff Owens.
Jeff Owens, NASCAR Scene. Carl, Jimmy talked yesterday about 2004 and 05 and how he had to lose a championship before he was prepared to win one. What do you think you've learned through this experience, assuming you don't come back and win the thing? What have you guys learned that you think you need to do differently going forward to win your first title?
That's a good question. Whether or not we win it, either way, I have learned a couple things about, where to put the effort, where to be cautious, not to underestimate your opponents, all these things that, I kind of already knew, but this really, galvanizes those things. It makes me realize, hey, we've got to really fine-tune the way we compete. So I have learned some things that I think will help, and regardless of what happens, I can't wait for next season and the season after that. I think we've got a really, a team now that can compete at a very high level.
Bob.
Bob Pockris, NASCAR Scene. You're either going to have to win or lead the most laps, no matter what Jimmy does, I think, this weekend. Will you know after practice today whether you have the car to do that?
We'll probably know after practice tomorrow. But still then, so much can change. And, Bob Osborne has this ability to make the car a lot better after Saturday's practice sometimes, for Sunday anyway. So we really probably won't know until about halfway through the race when the conditions change a little bit and you kind of know what you got for the long haul. And at that point, we'll know.
Other questions for Carl? Let's go Jorge and then Jim Noble.
Carl, Jorge Mendoza, FoxSports.com. At any point during the playoffs, the chase, did you consider maybe stepping out of the Nationwide ride, or was the fact that you're battling for both championships reason enough to stay in both?
No, I never thought about stepping out of it. That Nationwide series gives me a great, great place to go away from the Cup side on Saturdays, and a really fun series to race in. And for me, the challenge, that championship is a big one too. So no, I never thought about giving up the Nationwide thing. I've enjoyed it, and I think it's helped me.
We'll go Noble and then Mark Dakotas.
Jim Noble, Fox Sports Net. Today's announcement or impending announcement about testing ban for 2009, including preseason testing at Daytona, coupled with the economy, kind of a two-part question. How well positioned are you guys at Roush Racing, Roush Fenway, to handle that, to keep getting better testing ban coupled with the economy right now?
I believe as far as the economy is concerned, we're doing well as we could be. Jeff Smith and all those guys have worked really hard to make sure that we've got everything in place, and that we do, we make it our sponsor and marketing partners' dollars. We give them a good value. So I believe we're okay there. As far as the testing is concerned, I think it's a great move by NASCAR. I think that that gives a little bit of relief to the teams as far as expenses and the team owners. So that's a good thing. It'll make it a little easier on all the guys. I believe competitively, it's just like what Jeff was saying earlier. As long as everyone operates under the same rules, you're going to have nearly the same competition, whether you can test every day of the year or or not test at all. So I don't think the fans will see any difference. I think it just possibly could make it less expensive for the owners, which is good.
Mark.
Mark Dakotas from Florida Today. Carl, you've been asked a lot of what you need to do Sunday. What do you need to do tomorrow? Thank you.
I think tomorrow is going to be a really exciting race. You know, Clint and I, you know, just like Jimmy and I, we get along really well. We got a great competitive rivalry, and you know, he roots for the Jayhawks. I root for the Mizzou Tigers, and on the racetrack, we always seem to be pretty close. You know, we've had some good races, so we got to go out and just do the same thing we've been doing, and it's been going really well. You know, we've been winning races, we've been closing points. I think at one point we thought we were too far to catch him, and now it's very realistic. If we were to go win the thing, I think if he finished 7th or 8th, we'd win the championship. So I think it's going to be a good race on Saturday.
Let's go over here to the left side of the room. Go ahead, and then we'll go to Dwight.
Jay Pennell, HardcoreRaceFans.com. If you do come out of this weekend without a championship, how do you stay upbeat about your season? I mean, are you disappointed that you wouldn't come out without a championship, or does everything else kind of overrule that?
Well, I'll just put it this way. No matter what happens on Sunday, no matter how the championship results end up, I mean, we've won, you know, a number of races I didn't know if I'd win in my career this year. The Nationwide Series has been great. We've won 6 races there. And, you know, I mean, I'm 29 years old, and I think, the greatest crew chief in the garage, the greatest guys working the cars, and the potential for the next few years to be really tough, you know, on the racetrack. So I look at this year, regardless of the result, as a year that we've really put ourselves in a position and reassured ourselves that we can compete for championships.
Dwight.
Dwight Drum, RaceTape.com. Growing up and growing at this level, once you got here, like the former champions that you associated with yesterday, and then the champions that you've met, you know, that you wanted to meet, did you learn from those people, or did you realize you knew a lot when you got here?
Now, wait a second. What exactly did I realize? What?
Did you realize that you learned from them once you got here, or did you realize also that you had some of the abilities that they have?
Well, I mean, we're all race car drivers, you know, but it's wild to be, you know, to consider some of these guys as my peers more than heroes that I look up to. You know, it's wild to think that, you know, I mean, every week, you know, almost every week, get to race against guys like Mark Martin. You know, I got to race against Rusty Wallace. So yeah, it is strange to think that, you know, hopefully someday, whether it's Sunday or, you know, or a year from Sunday or whatever, hopefully someday I can be on that list of champions that, you know, maybe there's some kid out there that's racing around thinking, you know, maybe someday I'll get to race with Carl Edwards. You know, I mean, that's crazy. It's a big, you know, like a shift in thinking, a big paradigm shift in you know, how you look at the world and your career. It's crazy.
Any other questions for Carl? Anything else? Carl, good luck this weekend.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have fun.